I call the member for right.
I thank you, Mr Speaker, and I'm sure as the nation looks on to what they would suggest is a very aggressive debate. It's budget time, and we will have opposing opinions in this space, in this fiscal space, and rightfully so. But as politicians, we need to own the image that we portray with the Australian public when a budget is put before the Australian people and the opposition opposing just for the sake of opposition. To state that this is an unfair budget and that all measures in it should be repealed or voted against is just such an overreach. It's such an overreach. Mr Speaker, can I declare to you that in that education space, every school in my electorate, some 71 primary schools and high schools, will be financially better off, not only next year but over the next 10 years. My All Saints School at Boonah will receive an increase of $71,900, a significant amount of money for a small community where sometimes the biggest fundraiser is the school fete for the course of the year. But an increase, one yearly increase of $71,000 next year. St Mary's State School, $109,000. But our state schools don't miss out as well. The Lockyer District State High School picks up $177,000. And I won't labour the point of all of my schools, again, of which there are 71 throughout the electorate, representing no less than just on 23,200 students through my electorate, that this is a fair package. Every one of mine go up. Every one of my schools are going to be better off under these budget measures, and to say that this budget is unfair is either uninformed or an overreach. It is fair. It is fair, Mr Speaker. I also want to say what else I think is fair, and what's fair is the removal of the $7,500 childcare cap. So if you're a mum and dad and you're paying a couple of $100 a day for childcare, or whatever the rate might be, my daughter's 22 and is well out of that realm now, you're paying, assume you're paying $200 a day, up until $7,500, you would make a 50% claim for that. That cap now is removed, so if you're paying childcare, that is unlimited. You will tap into that. For those to stand on the other side and say that that is unfair, that working mums and fathers, dads, should have to, should have that cap left in place, well, I beg to differ. And that's okay. In this place, we can have differing opinions. To say that it's unfair for our small businesses to be taking advantage of the 27% reduction in company tax rate, that is unfair. I mean, some of the businesses that will be benefited by that in my electorate that I'll come to is significant. And in addition to that, my businesses have told me overwhelmingly about the benefits of the instant $20,000 cash write-off. For those to come into this place and say that those measures that are provisioned within this bill, within this Appropriations Bill number 1, are unfair, can I say they are unfounded comments? That there is a bulk of stuff in this bill that is fair. It is fair. It is fair. And I can only assume that when the time comes, that those, if they're claiming that this is unfair, will walk into this chamber and vote against those measures. Vote against my schools receiving their benefits. Vote against the pensioners getting their support for that one-off energy reforms. So the budget makes a record investments not only in my electorate but in roads, rail, right across the country. I won't labour the point of what some of them are, but some of the things I think are fair on both sides of the House for this measure is the $500 million regional infrastructure package that will fund an additional round 3 of our Building Better Regions funds, of which those on the other side have been beneficiaries of, and the third round of Stronger Communities program. I challenge anyone to say that both of those programs were unfair and unfairly distributed right throughout the entire country. They are well thought out and should be supported. We're creating up to $1.5 billion Skilling Australian funds to help train up to 300,000 Australian apprentices and trainees in key trade skills. This will get more young Australians into work and help Australians grow into business. Now, how can that be unfair? How can that be unfair? Mr Speaker, there are many provisions in this bill which are outstanding. We will support pensioners, we'll be supporting veterans, school kids, teachers, small businesses, parents, childcare, and we'll be supporting the banks paying their fair share. This is a fair bill, and I commend it to the House and ask for Labor's support.
I thank